changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. It's Friend Friday, and today I'm excited to introduce you to the hottest DJ in America, DJ Skribble.
That's me.
That's you, and you're one of those soft-hearted dads who's on our new TV show, Project Dad. So, Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You know, you make me laugh so much when I'm watching the show. You are absolutely hysterical, and so are your kids.
Thank you.
I laugh every time I think about what happened in the first episode when your little daughter Rosie kept ending up in the dog crate.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I say it to everybody. When they have kids, one is fun, 2 is an adventure, 3 is chaos. So I'm in chaos land, and then 4 is anarchy, and anything over 5 is Armageddon. So I'm in between, Armageddon and anarchy. So yeah, we have chaos in our house, but it's an awesome chaos. It's amazing when you have children how you make 3 individual people that are totally different from one another, but yet they're from the same family and the same bloodline, and it's amazing to watch them grow. And when I see so many different things in each one of them that I'll see, like something in my wife, or like I said, Frankie is the one that my dad wished on me, saying, "I hope you have one just like you." So, but they always keep you on your toes, and it's always a fun time, and it's with the good and the bad. It's a lot of fun.
So let's give our listeners a little introduction to this. So DJ Skribble is a music producer. He has lots of albums out there. He runs a lot of amazing dance parties. He's brought in all over the country, to Las Vegas, to Atlantic City, to run these huge dance. What would you call them? Dance parties?
Well, I DJ. I DJ at a lot of clubs. I've been to over 59 countries. DJ'd pretty much all over the world. I started on, in a rap group, and then moved up to radio, and then moved on to MTV, which brought me to the world. And then been touring around that, and I've worked with everybody from, Madonna to Missy Elliott, and done remixes and compilation albums throughout the years, and still, have the honor and pleasure to DJ to this day around the world. So, it's a little bit of everything, and now, also, it's 2 different worlds that kind of collide, and I gotta balance both of them, because here I am, this entity outside the house where everybody looks at me as this bigger than life, music guy, and then in the house, my biggest goal and biggest job is to always have my kids look up to me and smile.
Yeah, I watched. Okay, so in the first episode, and by the way, for everybody, the show is currently airing on Discovery Life. It's going to rerun starting in the first week of January on TLC. You can watch it starting in the middle now on Discovery Life, and then you can catch the first episodes in January on TLC. It doesn't matter if you come in the middle; you'll immediately get what's going on. But I remember in the first episode when your wife Dana was leaving you alone with the kids for the first time, because on the show you're left alone with the kids for a couple of days at first, and then
and then twice as long after that.
Yeah,
and,
but she was leaving you those Post-it notes all over. Post-it notes like, remember to feed the kids.
Yeah.
And you were acting like, I can't believe she's leaving me Post-it notes. I don't need those. And as far as I could tell from watching you, you needed every single one of those.
Yeah, pretty much. I do. Because I'm a big kid too, and that the shows taught me so much. And because I am a big kid, I'm the 4th kid to my wife. You know what I mean? And one thing this show has made me realize is the importance of that partner and that extra hand that you have, and the respect that I've gained. Not that I've never had respect, which I always have respect for single moms and dads and just parents in general, because there's no manual. And life takes a turn at every second, and things can happen at the drop of a hat. And there's no instruction manual on how to do it. And as you're a parent, you're learning just as much as your kids are learning as they're growing up. We're learning how to take care of them and what to do. So the respect that I have for single parents, because there is no time out. There is no, Dana, I'm going to, take a break for a minute. You got this. Or she's going to tell me I'm going to take a break. You got this. There is no time out. And you have to be on duty 24/7 and on point with three different, let alone one different attitude and need and want, but you have three different attitudes and needs and want that are all happening simultaneously, and you have to make all of that work and be mom and dad at the same time at that point during this experiment. And it has taught me so much, that I want to strive to be better than what I was, and I think I have, and I have been.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to find a permanent change in how you are as a father and as a husband.
As far as, I've now kind of respected the whole sleep thing that my wife does, because, and I've also now gotten up, my wife was always responsible for getting up with the kids in the morning, and, I would sleep right through it, but now, we have this deal, like if I just wake up and I'm up before the kids, have to get to school, I shut her alarm off and I let her sleep. You know what I mean? Like,
wow. There's going to be a wait list for moms who want their husbands to do Project Dad for the second season.
Yeah, it has taught me a lot and given me a much bigger role as a dad and a husband, and I totally don't mind it. You know what I mean? I don't mind at all, actually. It's been quite an experience.
So, by way of background for our listeners, Chicken Soup for the Soul decided to do this show, Project Dad, in the U.S. after we saw the original version of it in Korea, where it is an incredibly popular show. It's been on for 6 years. Same idea, celebrity dads. Our U.S. version has a little more action, I think. There's more going on each time. But there's been articles now in Korea where they believe that with the show having been on for 6 years, they're seeing a measurable difference in fathers' involvement with their kids in Korea. It's changed parenting in Korea. So who knows? You may be at the beginning of a new movement in the U.S. to make fathers more involved with their kids.
Well, it's one thing for me, like, I'm always involved with them. But, we're the working dads, we're involved to a point. We're the fun dads. We're definitely there through sports. And if they get hurt and, but there's this other side of it that goes unseen and untalked about and unsaid, and that the moms do, that without that, it's and like I said, that's what makes me have this new respect for single parents, because there's this other side of it that some of us don't see, that without that, there's no balance. And I've learned to be, I'm not perfect at it. That's going to take me a long time to be perfect at it, and probably never will be. But to find this balance of being able to work and be with them, and there's other things that are more important to me now than what they used to be. Let's put it that way. If I could kind of explain, it's very hard to explain for me in words, but the priorities have definitely changed in what I look at life.
Well, and I think we see you change on the show. It's December 2nd. We're halfway through the show, and you have already changed. Like, how do you think we're going to see you in the second half of the show versus the first half?
I just, there's a click moment that I just start to get it. You know what I mean? And there's just, like I said, the things that used to be more important to me are so not important to me anymore. That I thought that this had to happen first. No, it's not about that. There's such a great joy when you accomplished. I've accomplished so many different things in my career, right? I was the first DJ to ever headline a USO tour and perform for the troops, and I was the first DJ on the MTV. I've done a lot of firsts, but like nothing that could compare to some of the things that I've gotten to do as a dad. And that's true. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I've performed in front of 1 million people. And yet, like, I'd much rather when my daughter comes up to me after she's happy because, you know, even yesterday, she's like, Daddy, can you just come and pick me up at school? Just because she wanted me to. She takes the bus. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And just that she's 4 years old, and how she looks at me because I just did that little thing for her. You know what I mean?
You are also a total mush around Rosie. I know that. She
totally owns me.
You totally melt. I know. And I think Scott and Frankie are going to be complaining about that. How come Rosie always gets what she wants? How come Rosie got a car when she was 16?
Yeah, no, Rosie definitely owns me, and, you know, I never wanted to have daddy issues. But I'm the same with the boys. The boys I'm a little tougher on because that's the way my dad was with me, and, you know, there's just a different, not that there's a different, I love them all the same, but, you know, I mean, Rosie's my girl, like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I know why when they say daddy's little girl, now I get it, you know?
So you have an opportunity now to be the kind of dad to your kids that you wish your dad had been to you, even though you love your dad and all of that. I know every generation thinks they can do it a little better than the previous generation.
Yeah, I mean, there's two kinds of dads. There was the dad that, you know, like my brother-in-law has, that you can live in their parents' house until you're 50 years old and you never have to worry about anything, and your mother will still do your laundry like my brother-in-law has. But then you have the dad that when you hit 18, you fly the coop and you go and be you. And now that I'm older, not that I would do that to my kids, but I'm kind of – there's certain things my dad did that I'm glad I have in me. There's certain things he did that I'm not very proud of and that I will never do with my children. But there are certain things that my father did that I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for him. You know, whether I agree with him on certain things or not, you always learn from your parents, good or bad. And some people, you know, if they have a bad experience with their family, they go to make sure that they're not going to do that with their children. There's just certain things that, as I got older, that went on with my dad that I didn't like. But when we were kids, I mean, my father was my best friend. You know, he really was, truly was. And I'll never, ever, you know, forget that about him. You know, there's just certain things when we got older that, you know, he felt like he raised us and now he can live for himself. And I'm like, you're a parent until they put you in the ground. There is no, you raised us and now you're not there no more. You're a dad till you're dead, excuse my language. And then even then you're still dad. And hopefully while your time on this planet was there, that your children look at you as the hero and as a good person to that raised them. You know what I mean? We make mistakes. There's things I've done in my life that I'm not proud of. Obviously, everybody's done that. But the one thing that I'm going to do for my kids is just not be there for them. You know, no matter what it is, you know, and get through any kind of storm or fire or, you know, and the good times. And that's what I want to leave this earth with.
Yeah, well, I think that you're in great shape. You did a great job on Project Dad.
Thank you.
It makes me have a big smile thinking about all the stuff you've been doing with your kids on the show and the episodes that are still coming. For everybody out there, you can watch DJ Skribble on Project Dad on Discovery Life in December, and then you can watch the show again starting from the beginning in January on TLC. Thank you so much, Scott, for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I hope I can just rattle on because once you get me going, I don't stop. I only have an on and an off button.
That's all right. We're happy that you've been so inspired to talk about being a dad. Next time we get together on the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast will be Motivational Monday. And since we're talking about dads muddling through being alone with their kids and how it all works out just fine anyway, on Monday we're going to talk about how the holidays don't have to be perfect either. And remember, if you want to watch Project Dad, you can go to our website, chickensoup.com, click on the TV and film button on the homepage, and we will show you how to find the channel on your own cable system or satellite.